Oh, all right. We're live. How's it going, everybody? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment, which is why I'm wanting to talk about this because it's a docu series that aired on Lifetime Channel, and it's a three-night, six-part limited documentary series called "Surviving R. Kelly." And part of why I want to talk about it because I grew up in the '90s. The R. Kelly was at the biggest his biggest prime was during that decade, and I was a fan of many of his hit songs. So I got a lot of opinions about this docu. I finally watched four episodes. I think the last two will air this evening tonight. So I haven't seen the final two yet. Um, but before I break it down and give you my reaction to it, let me just share with you what the documentary is about. Again, it's on Lifetime, um, and it focuses on R. Kelly. If you don't know who R. Kelly is, and if probably you've been either you were born in the year 2000 and on, or you were living under the rock, R. Kelly is one of the biggest, most influential R&B artists, not just of his generation, but I want to say of all time. Not only, dude, that brother's talented, man. He is, say what you want, man. But he's crazy talented. He can write songs. I mean, he not only his hits are not the only things that not. He doesn't just perform some of his hits, but he also writes hits for other artists. That's what I was that's what I was trying to say, but I was stumbling on my words. One of which was "You Are Not Alone" for Michael Jackson. And growing up, man, in the '90s, man, freaking R. Kelly was the shiznit, you know. I believe I Can Fly for Space Jam. Oh my god, and I love that song with Celine Dion, the one the what's the title? I'm Your Angel. Yeah. Oh my god, it's like it's one of those inspirational songs that just lifts you up, there's that gospel feel to it too with the choir and everything. Oh, I'm Your Angel is fantastic. And of course, for those of us fans of his other song, R&B stuff, I want to say, Bump and Grind, of course, Ignition, and dude, that guy knows how to make hits. So, um, and that part about him is pointed out or is brought up in this documentary series. This documentary series doesn't shy away from the fact that, hey, R. Kelly is hella talented. It's not like just a docu series just to shit on R. Kelly. Um, and for the part one, it tells about his upbringing, his rough childhood, and it goes to his rise to fame, and then the rest of the series is about the whole sex abuse allegations against minor and whatnot. And the docu series features a lot of talking heads, so many talking heads. I mean, freaking Wendy Williams shows up on it, and but there's also like psychologists, and there are entertainment journalists from all kinds of outlets, mostly music news based, and personalities, TV or online or radio, and John Legend. John Legend seems to be the biggest current star celebrity who is one of the talking heads in this docu. There's some other artists, in this docu, but if you're talking about like currently big, not like '90s big or early 2000 big, John Legend is still, he's an Oscar winner a few years ago, and I think he got nominated for that, Jesus Superstar thing last year. So current big star, the only person that shows up on this docu is John Legend. Um, so that's basically the gist of the docu. Uh, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that docu on A&E about Scientology with Leah Remini, but that's a different format. Leah Remini actually goes to the homes of the survivors, whereas this one is the format is very basic and old school. Inside the kind of the survivor would sit down and talk to the person on the camera. There's no really a Leah Remini. There's no really one figure or one face representing or or anchoring this docu. So that's the gist of what the docu is. So here's my reaction, though. First of all, I have my notes here on the screen. I'm a little disappointed. I guess the word is disappointed, maybe disheartened. I'm disheartened to find out that, or to find out the origin or the reason behind the creation of the song You Are Not Alone, for the one that R. Kelly wrote and produced for Michael Jackson. That's one of Michael Jackson's biggest hits ever, man. I grew up like, thinking you are not alone. It's not just about a lover saying to somebody like, hey, I'm here with you, and you are not alone. But it can also mean like maybe siblingship, or between friends. Hey, you are not alone. You don't have to go through this on your own. I'm here with you. uh, and now that's kind of tarnished because according to this docu series, um, it's a song that he wrote for or dedicated to this minor girl that I guess he impregnated, and she miscarried, and she's one of the survivors that came forward on this docu series. And she said to the camera, like, yeah, that's how he came to the song, or he came to creating the song You Are Not Alone, which he then gave to Michael Jackson to perform, for Michael Jackson to perform. So knowing that now is like, oh no, oh no, why? When you love a song, when you love a product, and but then you find out the true story behind that, and it's not rosy flowery as what you would expect it to. Is just it really kind of crushes my soul. It's like, oh man, now anytime that song comes out on the radio or on Pandora, I'm like, oh no. No, why? Um, that's my first reaction. I have this on my note. I guess I find that a bit disheartening as a fan of the song. Now I don't know what to think of it anymore. There are some points that some of the talking heads brought up in this docu that were jaw dropping. Because the things that they bring up, they are informative. There are some stuff that, oh my god, I did not know that about R. Kelly. But there's, for the most part, if you grew up through the 90s and have heard rumors or news about R. Kelly, even about his trial, the one that he got acquitted from, if you've been following that, maybe some of you would come across this docu and come away from it saying, this is nothing new. It's like, you're just telling me something I already know. But there are some things also that some of the talking heads say in this docu that I kind of disagree with. Like at one point, I believe one of the entertainment journalists, I forgot her name, but she criticizes R. Kelly's um, I guess sexual movements, or sexual moves, I should say, not movement, sexual move, sexual gesture that R. Kelly does on stage when he performs live in concert. So she criticizes that. I totally get why though she criticizes. She's kind of saying like, hey, that's R. Kelly's way of hiding in plain sight. Like that R. Kelly uses that pornographic gesture, if you will, uh, as a way to like, hey, I know people have been had rumors about me having sex in front of you all. Look, look, I'm doing these gestures on the stage. What can you do, huh? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? So maybe that's her angle, or that's what she's coming from about that. But if not, then I would disagree, because if you were to criticize an artist for his or her sexual gesture up on the stage when she or he dances or performs, then all or a lot of artists will be guilty. I mean, even Elvis Presley, when he moves his hip, it's like, oh my God, he makes the girls, wet their panties. Like, so how is that Elvis's fault? Um, there's a reason why it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's not just drugs and rock and roll. Um, so that's one of the things that they kind of try to criticize R. Kelly for. That kind of, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit paper thin there, that your accusation, just because he moves his hip on the stage. Sorry, try harder. Okay, so that's my second point. That's my second point. My third one um, has to do with the revelation of what happened to him when he was a kid. R. Kelly got interviewed one time, and he revealed that he was molested as a kid. Um, he said something along the lines of like, because of that, when you're a kid, you don't know nothing about sex, or you don't have that curiosity. So to be exposed to that at such a young age, that kind of messes with you. Because you're not supposed to be exposed to that kind of things yet at that age. That's not supposed to be your priorities yet. And yeah, that's why sex with a minor is unacceptable. But is that an excuse? It's like, oh, because R. Kelly got molested, I guess that's why now he has sex with minor. So that explains it, folks. No, that's not an excuse. One does not have to lead to the other. I'm not a psychologist. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not trying to psychoanalyze R. Kelly here, but that should not be an excuse. I know people would say, hey, bullies bully other kids because they themselves got bullied at home by their parents, and so they take it out on their peers at school. Be that as it may, but it doesn't have to be that way. A kid can choose not to take it out on his friends. And yeah, I don't see that as an excuse, at least in my opinion. It's like, oh, of course he's gonna be a bully. You got bullied at school, so what can you do? What can you do? No. So, so that's my observation, at least. It's not a judgment or defending or anti R. Kelly at all, but just an observation. It should not be an excuse. My other point is, it should not be an excuse. Also, the fact that he's crazy talented. As I mentioned earlier, man, R. Kelly knows how to write songs. That son of a bitch is fucking amazing when it comes to like coming up with lyrics and melodies and notes and tunes and music that can resonate with so many people. I don't know, man. He's got the magic touch. Even when he's on trial for something, he'll produce an album or a song, and bam, it becomes a hit. I just like, other artists will be like, I probably should stay low because I'm being indicted. But he's like, motherfucker, I'm gonna release this shit, and it becomes a hit. There's something about, he's got the Midas touch, but that should not be an excuse. All right, we live in a world we live in a world. Unfortunately, we live in a world of celebrity worship, that or not just celebrity worship, but we worship somebody who's really, really good at something. And when we admire somebody, because they're really, really good at that something, we give him or her a pass. It's like, oh, sure, I guess, but come on. He's like, look at him. He's a great songwriter. Damn it. Oh, his songs. I mean, those are baby making songs. I make love to my wife with those songs. So like, come on, cut R. Kelly some slack. Give him a break. And uh, unfortunately we live in that world, and it that kind of treatment can get to the heads of people like R. Kelly, um, and others like him. You know, people might blame it on, oh, R. Kelly. You know, he can't handle fame because he came from nothing and he rose to stardom and boom. You know, so now he's surrounded by a bunch of yes men. Everything comes easy for him. You know, girls will throw themselves at him, and so yeah, that's the price of fame, but that's also the curse of it. Because now R. Kelly or people like him would think, "Oh my God, I can do this and get away with it." Um, I mean, what are they gonna do to me? I mean, look at them; they're kneeling before me, man. They're buying my shit. So R. Kelly thinks he's untouchable and he's like a god. And when you feel like a god, man, whew, that that is a poisonous place to be in, uh, for you as a human being, because you're not really attached to, or yeah, your feet's not even attached to the ground anymore. Let's just put it that way. um, there's no accountability because the world loves his songs. And you know what, that again, there's something about his talent that whenever he produces a song, boom, it hits everybody's heart. And yeah, you have to be able to kind of separate the two. Like when we talk about Kevin Spacey, he's like, oh my god, he's such a talented actor though. Oh, I love him in this, I love him in that. But you gotta really really separate, what R. Kelly did or allegedly did, and R. Kelly the star, the talented singer who writes songs that move you. um let's see about the PP tape. Holy crap, that's probably like the third part of this docu series. They The survivors talk about what that PP tape is. They describe it. They talk about where they were when they found out about it. And man, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. I myself haven't watched it yet. Hand to God, I haven't watched the the sex tape that R. Kelly got in trial for. I have no interest in watching it. I remember though when it was like the biggest talk of the town, when it was everybody was buzzing about it. I was like, what is this? Everybody's the BP tape. Um, so it's described in a very graphic way in this part three. I believe part three, right? I think it's part three. Part three, either at the end of part two or early beginning part of part three. So they describe it in such a graphic way. So just want to give you a heads up. This docu gets really specific, gets really detailed. And if you're kind of queasy about this kind of, if you don't have the stomach for it, I suggest you don't watch this docu at all because they really gave a lot, a lot of info, um, a lot of TMIs. Now, I I hear that some of the, not criticism, but some of the questions that are out there, um, I think it's on the Twitter sphere. They're wondering, like, people are wondering, why is it that only John Legend is the only current big star who is brave enough to be participating in this documentary? I don't know the answer to that question. You know, um, my theory is that if you are a current pop star or current R&B star, and you may have had friendship relationship or maybe working relationship, or you've known R. Kelly in the past or currently, you probably don't want your face to be showing on this docu. um I'm just trying to understand, because they might see it as a career suicide. Maybe that's the reason. um R. Kelly's name is this kind of you probably have, or maybe you and your manager was like, yeah, I don't know if we want to participate in this docu. It might backfire. It might hurt my career. My career is just getting started. Whereas John Legend is, is a pretty established guy. He he's not climbing the ladder anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I think John Legend, because I've met him before, he's a pretty cool guy. John Legend is one of the nicest dudes ever. I kid you not. Um, and I hope there's no controversy around him. Oh, two, knock on wood. But I think John Legend himself wanted to participate because he really wanted. He's not there to kind of defend R. Kelly. He's there to call him out. He's there to like, hey, this is wrong. And so, yeah, credit where credit's due. So kudos to John Legend for being at least one of probably the only big current star who shows up on this docu to call out R. Kelly. Now, another question that also shows up online, at least some of the tweets that I saw, some of the fans, because it was hashtag surviving R. Kelly, and they're like, hey, how come some of the former employees of R. Kelly who show up on this docu, why are they not held responsible? Now, by that, I just want to give you context. You probably have heard about the R. Kelly sex cult. So basically, R. Kelly would, his entourage would scout malls or I don't know whatever place and try to find young girls for R. Kelly, and usually he would tempt them, with promises of, oh, I'm gonna make you a big star. Look at you, you're cute, you got talent. I'm a famous producer. I can help you, girl. So that's usually I guess the hook, you could say, right? And so in this docu, not just like some of the talking heads are not only survivors, not only psychologists, not only TV personalities, not only entertainment journalists, but some of them are actually actual people who had worked underneath or who had worked for R. Kelly. Some of them are his security guards, his former assistants, and so now they're speaking out, coming forward. And so I totally understand why some of the tweets out there will be like, "Hey, how come they can get away with it? Why can't we hold them responsible too for enabling R. Kelly all those years?" And you know what? My question or my sentiment the same. Yeah, it's like, yeah, what can we hold them responsible? It's like, so now that they're coming forward and speaking out, I guess it's their way of making amends. It's their way of like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know I took part in it, directly or indirectly. But come on, I'm speaking out now. I'm coming forward. Doesn't that mean something? If that is the case, if that's their reasoning, then I'll be like, that's not enough, bitch. That's not enough. You were with them through those acts all those years, and you didn't do nothing then. But I needed the money, man. I can't, or R. Kelly would be fire me, or he would blacklist me. And I was like, yeah. So that's why it takes the courage to stand up to somebody. So yeah, I guess my question is the same. Like, why can't they be held responsible too? It's like, why do they get a pass now that just because they're speaking out or just coming forward? I mean, are we supposed to just kind of like forgive them for enabling R. Kelly all those years? I don't know. What do you guys think? Now, last 2 points before I end this video. I want to applaud the survivors, man. Holy crap! Watching this docu-series was not easy for the viewers, and it was even extra not easy for the survivors who had to speak in front of the camera. Dude, one of them was like, I think one of them was the backup singer of R. Kelly, man. She's just holding back tears, man, just tears falling, and I feel so bad for her because the interviewer, the one behind the camera, I was like, in my head, because she's like crying, she can't even finish a sentence, and I'm like, if I were there in that room, I'd be like, hey, could somebody please give that lady a Kleenex, please? Anybody? And it's like nobody's helping her out. It's like she's like wiping it with her hand for like a good 2 minutes, like, and the interviewer did nothing. I was like, come on, man, where's your sense of decency? But anyway, back to the thing. It's like applaud, man, applause to the survivors, man. I'm speechless, man. And just their courage, their bravery, I mean, their willingness to share those details. Oh man, that and the fact that they actually went through what they share is just like, those exact stories, those graphic details. It's like, they actually went through that. Mm, dang, man, damn. Um, it breaks your heart. It really, really breaks your heart. But at the same time, you admire these women, man. Now I know that Andrea Kelly, R. Kelly's ex-wife, who is featured on this docu, and she criticized, R. Kelly, because R. Kelly abused her, man. Holy crap! I mean, he locked her in the door, like wouldn't, like she would have to ask permission just to like get dinner and whatnot. So, but I remember last night, yeah, I believe it was yesterday, after episode 3 and 4 aired, right? And people were kind of people were kind of trashing on her on Twitter because they found out that she was listening to R. Kelly's song in the car. I forgot what song it was. Um, but I'm like, and she's saying something about, oh, that's my baby daddy. But I'm not gonna be hard on her about that. I think for me, my verdict is let her go, let her go, let her go, because she mentioned it herself in this docu that she really admires R. Kelly's talents. And I mean, he is the father of her children. So she listening to R. Kelly's song saying, hey, that's my baby daddy. That to me, that sounds like somebody stating a fact, not necessarily a support or so. And she says in the docu, like, oh my god, R. Kelly is amazingly talented. So she you can tell that she has, just like many others, including yours truly, that she has some admiration for those songs. And like I said earlier, those songs are really amazing, man. Those songs really hit you right here. So I'm not gonna like uh punish her for that. I know the Twitter was punishing her for that. It's like, oh my god, you just showed up on the docu and now you're listening to R. Kelly and saying baby daddy. It's like, bitch, R. Kelly is kind of her baby daddy, the father of her children. So let her go, let her go, let her go, let her go. Again, applause to the survivors. And my last point is this. um if this documentary does not lead to accountability on R. Kelly's part, then I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not that it's in vain, or that's what's the point of making this documentary then if it doesn't have any that result. I'm just saying that, man, I hope it opens up some kind of case or some kind of investigation somehow. I know that he got acquitted a couple times in the past, which shocked me to death. Holy crap! How a jury could let him walk after such strong evidence, I have no idea. uh, but that's our justice system, unfortunately. Sometimes our justice system, is good and solid and works for us. Sometimes they're not perfect. Sometimes it all depends on the how good the lawyers on each side brings the case to the jury. How they convince the jury. Reasonable doubt or beyond reasonable doubt. So that's our justice system. That's how it works. So maybe this documentary could be, even if it doesn't lead to accountability on R. Kelly's part, maybe it could shed a light on him. Maybe it could bring more support to the hashtag mute R. Kelly movement. Or maybe you can even like say, hey guys, this is what fame does to a person. So don't, so if you ever get fame, if you ever reach that level of stardom, don't be like R. Kelly. So this documentary could be a cautionary tale. Maybe that could be the silver lining or something that you can take away from it, even though it doesn't lead to accountability on the part of R. Kelly. Um, yeah, man. So R. Kelly has not been convicted. I don't think he's currently under investigation of any kind. Investigation of any kind. So, and again, so he's out there, man. He's still selling albums. He's still selling concerts. He's still everything he drops, man, becomes a hit. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get to that point where R. Kelly would admit, maybe, or even apologize. If not, jail sentence, maybe apology. I don't know if we're gonna get to that. I don't know if we're gonna. I think though, if you ask me, for my opinion, I think R. Kelly is at the point, or has been at the point where, um, in his mind, he can do no wrong. Like, what do you mean? I'm R. Kelly. I'm R. Kelly, bitch. Like I'm Rick James, bitch. I'm using the Dave Chappelle show. I'm R. Kelly, bitch. I can do whatever. So I think that's what he's experiencing. I'm just theorizing. I don't know R. Kelly. Obviously, I don't know him in person. So, but if you're in that place in life, man, whew, and you feel like untouchable, and you feel like a god, I don't know, man. That's just, I guess, from my perspective, that is a sad, sad thing, man. That's a sad thing because you are you feel like you can hurt anybody, and then be like, there's nothing anybody or anything or anybody or any institution can do about it. I can keep on doing it, and that's sad. That's heartbreaking. So yeah, that's my review, I guess you could say, but more like my reaction to this docu series. Um, is it a good thing that they made this docu? Yeah, I want to say I'm gonna lean on the yes. I'm glad that they made this docu. I think some good will come out of it. And again, it's not an easy watch though. So just want to give you a heads up. Listening to some of these stories, either you would pause or fast forward or break into tears because they're just hard to listen to, man. So just a heads up there. Yeah, that's my reaction, not review, my reaction to the Surviving R. Kelly docu. Let me know what you think. Um, are you fans of R. Kelly? Do you believe he's guilty? Um, what if you don't believe he's guilty? I'm like, what do you think should be the accountability for him? Because he seems to get away with it. And if you've seen this docu, what do you think? Do you think the docu is a bit one-sided? Do you think the docu uh, leaves out some facts that you probably know from somebody or some other source? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm very, very curious about it. All right. Share your thoughts about this, and excuse me. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be coming back with Rockin' and Rama Screen Live next Sunday, and I will be coming back tomorrow night, after the Golden Globe ceremony, to give you my reaction to the Golden Globes winners announcements. Oh, I see some people here chatting. Dandy, the Sigma Mole, Retro Negate Beats, Danielle. Thank you so much for chatting. Sorry I can't answer all the questions right now, but share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, so let's rock this. Adieu. Adieu.